बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम। अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा, अल-वाहिदुल क़हार, अली अल्लाह मदद फरमा। I will begin with this qasida's translation. Beautiful qasida, Chalice of Eternal Love. Grant us a gift, grant us a gift, grant us the chalice of love eternal. Grant us Didar, morning and evening, Mawla Kareem, Mawla Kareem. Your light is at confluence. When are you ever far from the lover? In every heart you are hidden, Mawla Kareem, Mawla Kareem. You are the salik and the path. You are the traveler and the path. You are the assembly and the destination. You are the purpose. You are the end. Mawla Kareem, Mawla Kareem. O the Sayyid of noble descent. O the fulcrum of knowledge and letters. O honor of the non-Arab and pride of the Arab. Mawla Kareem, Mawla Kareem. Your lineage is pure, your rank exalted. Your every gift is magnificent. Mawla Kareem, Mawla Kareem. You are the pearl of the unseen world. You are the pearl of the unseen world. You are Malkut in the Nasut. You are Lahut in the Jabarut. Mawla Kareem, Mawla Kareem. You are the universe of light and paradise. You are the universe of light and paradise is prosperous because of you. Everyone is full of joy here. Mawla Kareem, Mawla Kareem. Nasir of the wounded heart, may his soul be sacrificed for you again and again. Oh, the power of the sustainer. Mawla Kareem, Mawla Kareem. Ameen, Ameen, Ya Rabbal Alameen. Beautiful qasida, heart-touching words. We as united as one heart, we are praying to Mawla. Ya Mawla, bless us with your didar. Bless us with your hidden manifestations of Didar, Mawla. O Mawla, O Mawla. Madad Farma. Today we have gathered here to discuss the topic Tawil in Quran. The word Tawil is actually derived from the word Awwal, Awwala. The word Awwala means, literally it means to return something to its origin. The word awwala means to return something to its origin. But in technical sense, it means to explain the inner or esoteric meaning of word or speech. What is the inner meaning is the tawil in technical sense. But in literal sense, it is to take something to its origin. There are very many synonyms of Tawil which are being used in Quran, and few of them are listed here. Tawil is also mentioned in Quran as the word wisdom, also as blessing, even as thing, though it's not an ordinary thing, but it has been mentioned as thing, as fruit, essence, which is also called mamsul. So it could be phal, meva, mugs, which is also called mamsul. It is also taken as healing. Tawil is also mentioned as healing. Tawil is also mentioned as ilme laduni. Ilme laduni meaning the given knowledge, not the knowledge we can read in the books. Somebody has written it our Dai, our Buzrugwar Deen, our Fidai, whoever scholars have written it, and when we read it, that is, we are reading from the book. But the writer, where did he get the knowledge from? It is the given knowledge. So there are surely, when we read the book of Pir Nasir Khusro or Sayyidina Jafar Mansur al-Yamani or Allama Nasiruddin Hunzai, Ginans of our Pir, there are no references as per se, because they are coming from their own personal world. The knowledge which they have attained, which was given to them in their batin, it is called Ilme Laduni. It is also called the knowledge of end time, knowledge of resurrection, Ilme Qiyamat, Akhirat. These are all the synonyms of Tawil. Now the first, when we mentioned, the synonym for Tawil is wisdom. Wisdom is mentioned in the verse 269 of chapter 2, Surah Baqarah. And Allah says that He gives wisdom to whom He wills. Meaning, the Tawil is given to those whom He wills. Everyone is not able to get to it. And whoever has been given the wisdom has certainly been given much good. And none will remember except those of understanding. So those who have been given wisdom, they got abundant good, khair kasir. But it can only be understood by those who are people of understanding, ulul albab. Then the second synonym which we discussed is blessing. The word blessing is mentioned chapter 31 verse 20. And it says, do you not see that Allah has subjected to your all things in the heavens and on earth? Musakhar kar di hain. All those things which are in heavens and earth are subjugated to you. He has made all the bounties. The word bounties is referring to the blessings. In Arabic, it is used as namat. The word namat means blessing. So all the bounties and the blessings has been given to you. However, which are seen or unseen. So Tawil, which is hidden, at times, in fact, when we read Quran, when we are reading the Tanzil, it is hidden from us. We do not see that. But it is given to us in the form of Tawil. So that is the blessing. The third synonym, which is thing. And in chapter 15, Surah Hajr, verse 21, it says, and there is not a thing but with us are the treasures of it. وَإِن مِّن شَيْءٍ إِلَّا عِندَنَا خَزَائِنُهُ وَمَا نُنَزِّلُهُ إِلَّا بِقَدْرٍ مَعْلُومٍ. There is not a thing but with us are the treasures of it, and we do not send it down but in a known measure. So this thing, which is actually treasure, khazana, it is not sent down but in a known measure. Now why in a specific quantity, known measure? Why Allah just not open the gates of all the treasures and we can take it all? But that's not how Allah does things. He says, I sent it to you in a specified quantity. Meaning, here, whoever is ready to get it in the amount they can handle, it is given to them. In other words, a Mu'min Salik, when prepares himself or herself for the higher level of understanding with ilmu amal, zikro ibadat, with girya uzari, this treasures, which is Tawil, is sent to them. Those hidden treasure or seen treasures are given to that Mu'min Salik. Now, thing is also mentioned in chapter 36, Surah Yasin, verse 12. وَكُلَّ شَيْءٍ أَحْصَيْنَاهُ فِي إِمَامٍ مُبِينٍ. Everything is encompassed in manifest Imam. So surely, Imam, who is the custodian of Tawil, everything is encompassed within him. All the Tawilat is with Mawla. and surely he chooses his servants to bestow that blessings to his mu'minins. Another synonym which is being mentioned in Quran, it is fruit. And here, chapter 3, Surah Al-Imran, verse 37, says that so her Lord accepted her with good acceptance and caused her to grow in a good manner and put her in the care of Zachariah. Every time Zachariah entered upon her in the prayer chamber, he found with her provision. He said, "O Mary, from where is this coming to you?" She said, "It is from Allah. Indeed, Allah provides for whom He wills without account." Bagairin hisab. How interesting is this about Bibi Maryam, that she was under the teaching of Zechariah, who is the prophet, but whenever Zechariah entered into her room, she would always have provision, fruit. And it is said that she would have this fruit which are out of season. So it was not possible to get the fruit which are out of season. So the Tawil of this verse is that she was getting Tawilat in her personal world before her age. According to Zechariah, he was a Buzrug prophet. And she's just a very young girl in her teens. And she's getting these provisions. And he's like, "How come you are receiving this? This Tawilat, how come you are receiving this?" And she says, "Indeed, Allah provides for whom He wills without account." But surely we do know how Maryam was so pious. She was so good in zikr ibadat, in her fasting of talk, in her fasting of food. She was a very pious, staunch mu'mina, arifa. So surely she was getting tawilat before even her physical age, mature age. Fruit is also essence, it's also mamsul. So when I said mamsul, so I am giving you understanding of the word mamsul. So in order to understand the essence or the mamsul, we need to understand misal. The word misal is actually example, which is tanzil. Tanzil is in a symbolic language, in allegories or parables. So the word misal itself, it can be example, it can be allegories, like giving example in allegories or symbolic example. And Quranic verses, when we read, it's tanzilat, meaning it came from above to Prophet Muhammad. Whereas Tawil, when we talk of Tawil, Mamsul, the essence takes us back from here to our original abode. So Tanzil comes from up to down, whereas Tawil takes us back to our origin. In chapter 29, verse 43 says, "And such are the parables we set forth for mankind, but only those understand them who have knowledge." So without having knowledge, those parables cannot be understood. So if anyone were to read just the Tanzilat, they will not understand the Batni meaning, the Tawilat, the essence, the fruit, which is hidden actually. Because Tanzil is different from Tawil. The whole Tanzilat is misal, not mamsul. And we, as a Batni Tariqa follower, we are interested in Tawilat. Tawil is also mentioned in the word of healing, chapter 16, verse 69. And it talks about actually honey, example of honey. "Then eat from all the fruits and follow the ways of your Lord laid down. There emerges from their bellies a drink, varying in colors, in which there is healing for people. Indeed, in that is a sign for a people who give thought." So again, this is a misal, this is an allegory. Allegory of a honeybee who is eating from the fruit and collecting this drink in her belly, which is of different colors. It has a healing property. For who? For people. Indeed, in this is a sign for people who think, who reflect. Maula Ali has said that he is the king of honeybees. His title was Amirul Nahal, the king of honeybees. Now the question would be, why Maula would say that he is the king of the honeybees? Because he is the custodian of a Tawil. He is the lord of Tawilat. So here, through this example, what we are learning, that when honey, physical honey, has a healing property, Tawilat also has a healing property. Tawilat also can give wellness to a Mu'min Salik. Now question would be how? That is something to think about. Those who think, reflect with knowledge, they will get to the answer. In chapter 8, verse 65, talks about ilme laduni, given knowledge. What does the verse say? Oh, so they found one of our servants on whom we had bestowed mercy from ourselves, and whom we had taught knowledge from our presence. Given knowledge. This is actually referring to Musa. Musa when he meets Khizr. And this is what he learns, that Tawilat, this given knowledge, is given to those chosen servants of God who was living at confluence of two oceans. Because Musa was told to go where the salty water and the sweet water is meeting. Zahir and Batin are meeting. Right at that junction, you will meet Khizr. So this is the verse talking about that he gives this knowledge to those who are his servants. It is his mercy. And it can be only taught by Imam himself to the Mu'min Salik. Then the next synonym is knowledge of hereafter. Ilme Qiyamat. Chapter 27, verse 66. Very interestingly it says, nay, their knowledge respecting the hereafter is slight and hasty. Meaning they don't have the complete knowledge. Probably superficial knowledge. Nay, they are in doubt about it. Nay, they are quite blind to it. So in other words, there are three categories it seems. Those who have very limited knowledge, very superficial. Then there are some probably who are in doubt. And there are some who are literally blind to it. Not physically blind, but they can't see it. There are some who listen to it, but they are, because of their doubt, they cannot go further. And there are some who say, oh, I know this much and that's enough for me. I'm good. Another name for Tawil is knowledge of hereafter, ilme qiyamat, which is very hidden. One has to work hard to get to that knowledge. And how do we know that? Our Imam is telling us. Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah in Zanzibar, 13 July 1899, gives us this farman, Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. You eat the bark of the almond but never tasted the kernel of the almond. You eat the marrow to know more about the faith, so as to gain more reliance and happiness. Mullah says, eat the mugs of an almond. Just don't eat the top part. If you were to eat the mugs, the essence, the mamsul, the tawil, if you were to find that out, it will give you happiness. Very interestingly, in Quran also we read that the name for tawil is healing. And as humans living in this world, surrounded by all the difficulties, there is a probability that people are not happy. Imam says, if you were to eat essence, if you were to eat the marrow, allegorically this farman is actually talking about tawil. That if you were to learn the tawilat, it will give you happiness, it will give you healing. Another farman. This is Jamnagar, 6th April 1900. Maula says, your original abode is too large, but now it's too far. Asal Makan is huge, but it is too much far right now. But those who are intelligent will reflect deeply. How can I come out of this prison? This world is a prison for believer. Maula says that I am tired. I need original abode. You too need original abode. So in other words, we all seek. Imam is giving his own example and teaching us by being a role model that we all need to seek the essence, the batin, the tawil. Why? Because it is the tawil which will take us back to our origin. We all came from Imam, from origin. Now we are in this world, but we need to go back. In order to go back, we need the understanding of the batin to be able to go back. Because Asal Makan is there, but it's right now too far. It is only with ilmu amal, zikr ibadat, with Girya Uzari that we are able to find our Asal Makan. Very interestingly, Quran talks about, do they just wait? Chapter 7, verse 53. And remember, we are on the topic of Tawil. And this verse, in its first sentence, mentions Tawil twice. Hal yanzaruna illa tawiluhu. Yawma yati tawiluhu. Do they just wait for the final fulfillment of the event? On the day the event is finally fulfilled? Are they waiting for it? That the end time should come in? Do they really wait for it to happen? Do they not seek it themselves? What are we waiting for? Are we waiting to? Remember this verse, chapter 27, verse 66 says, nay, their knowledge respecting the hereafter is slight and hasty. Nay, they are in doubt about it. Nay, they are quite blind to it. We being the smiley Mominin, the follower of the Batini Tariqa, we should not be fitting in any of these categories because we are the followers of the Batin. Tawilat is for us. Our Imam is the custodian of a Tawil. And very interestingly, in chapter 55, verse 13, which is Surah Rahman is told to be the bride of Quran. Quran has its own bride, and that is Surah Rahman. And beautifully in this verse, again and again and again, there is one verse which says, then which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? Favors? Would we deny Maula's favors? If we do not learn the tawilat, the mugs, the batin, we are coming into category of being ungrateful because we are not learning the tawilat. And in this chapter, this is said to us 31 times. Then which of the favors of your Lord will you deny? When we don't understand the essence, we don't even know how the mercy is coming to us. It is only through the true knowledge, learning the tawilat, we'll be able to understand how merciful is our Imam. We can say 100,000 times, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Surely He is merciful. But how is He merciful? We do need to understand that. And that understanding is in true knowledge. And true knowledge is based on tawilat. Maulana Haji Imam's Farman, Karachi, Pakistan, September 27th, 1960. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. More than ever today, we must be able to publish authoritative documents based on primary sources. There is no point in us rereading and rereading and rereading third-hand or fourth-hand documents. We can only get tied up in other people's interpretations, get further and further away from the original concept and thoroughly muddle and cloud what should be the truth. So when we are picking up books here and there, are we conscious how and what we are attempting to read, where we are investing the time? Maula says, go to the primary sources. Now here, I do not mean that we all start learning Arabic. If there are young children and they are interested, sure, why not? But at our age, it's not that we need to learn Arabic and we need to read the Quran as per se, but surely we can pick those key verses and understand the tawilat of it to help us understand the basic concepts related to our tariqah, recognition of our imam, to help us take steps further. Now we cannot read Arabic. When we read translation, we understand it's all allegories, it's all examples, it's all misal. We need tawilat. So we will have to find the authors, scholars, Buzrugwar-e-Deen, who have written these tawilat for us to get primary sources to understand what they are saying. There is a beautiful hadith by Prophet Muhammad. Prophet Muhammad says that indeed the Quran has an apparent zahir and a hidden aspect. And the hidden also has a hidden, up to 7 hidden aspects. So there is one batin, but there is bawatin. There are so many hidden aspects. How many do we know? Are we eager to learn, to know more? When we read and hear tawilat, if the moment is really interested in learning, it excites us. It makes us want to learn more, want to know more deeper knowledge. And it is so interesting that if we learn the one tawil, there is not one but two but three, there are 7 tawil. In fact, in other prayers, Prophet Muhammad has said that there are 70 tawilat. And Prophet has also talked about this Kashiful Nahl. Among you is the one who will fight for its tawil of the Quran, as I fought for Tanzil. So all the battles happened at the time of Prophet Muhammad. It was to help people accept the Tanzilat. But Maula Ali is the one who is the master of the Tawilat. And today Shah Karim is Maula Ali, who is the custodian of the Tawilat. And interestingly, when this hadith was mentioned by Prophet Muhammad, Maula Ali wasn't present among the companion. So one of the companions asked, who is this person who is going to fight for Tawilat? And Prophet says, the one who is mending the shoes. Kashiful Nahal. And surely they look outside and Maula Ali is mending Prophet Muhammad's shoe. So it is the Imam of the time who has the Tawilat. As we said, that one of the name of the Tawil is Ilme Qiyamat. In relation to that, there is another name which is hidden knowledge. Ilme Maknoon. It's hidden knowledge. And Maula Ali says that its zahir or exoteric aspect is an obligatory act. Its batin, hidden aspect, and veiled knowledge which is known to and written within us, with us. It is with Imam. Zahir is known to everybody, but it is the batin, it is the esoteric knowledge, it is with the Imam. It is written as Nur. There's another verse in Quran, chapter 5, verse 15. Kaja'akum minallahi nurun wa kitabun mubin. That surely Allah has sent Nur and the book. We all see the book in the form of Tanzil. Where is that Nur? That Nur, the light, is the Imam. And that book in the Nurani form is written in Imam himself. So Allah has sent the Nur and the book together. And that's what Maula Ali is saying here. Very interestingly, Prophet Muhammad has said that he who dies, indeed his resurrection takes place. Indeed, who dies, his or hers resurrection takes place. Mutu kabla antamutu. Die while living. When you die while living, what happens? You are going through the resurrection. Resurrection is constant event. It's constantly happening. there could be a bigger resurrection and a smaller events too. Resurrection can be individual. If a Mu'min Salik goes through Mutu Qabla Anta Motu, it's individual. It can be collective too. So resurrection itself is a very powerful and very broad concept to understand. But again, we are keeping it with ourselves to make it simple and understandable so we can connect to these concepts. So when a Mu'min Salik is doing zikr, the way we are doing zikr in the group nowadays, if the Mu'min is doing the zikr in quantity, that zikr helps in transforming the carnal soul. That Mu'min or Mu'mina is attempting to go through her own resurrection, however small it is, but it is resurrection. And everything happens in step by step. When a Mu'min Salik goes through the resurrection, it is Prophet's hadith that indeed his or her resurrection will take place. And when the resurrection takes place, that hidden knowledge, that personal world starts becoming enlightened. It is only through the resurrection that the personal world becomes prosperous house. Why? The nur of the Imam is within that personal world. The world is outside, and that personal world now is enlightened by the zikr of Imam, remembrance of the Imam. Even in our dua, when we say, Ehdina Sirat al-Mustaqima, that make me walk on the straight path. And in our first part, when we are saying that make us walk on the straight path and make me walk on the straight path and give me the blessings, what are those blessings we are asking every day in our dua? That is actually Tawilat, because one of the name of Tawil is blessing. On the path on whom you have blessed, and Amta alayhim, that's the verse I was recalling. Let's look at our peer, what our peers have said. Satgur kahere piyu piyu to sab jug kare, ane piyu na pave koi, mukh bole ke vina kahi, par piyu ne dhat na jane koi re. Every creature pronounces beloved, beloved, and nobody attains the beloved thereby. They utter by mouth one speech repeatedly, but nobody knows the essence of the beloved. Essence. So what we are seeking here is the essence. Not doing anything just by mouth. Let it be our zikr, let it be our learning of true knowledge, let it be our dua, our gina, whatever we do, we work hard to understand the deeper meaning, the inner meaning of it. Then only when we say Mawla, Mawla, Mawla comes near. And that's what our peers are teaching us. Our peers is saying that if you do it just lip service, it's not going to work for you. Another verse. Peer says, Satgur kahere jine par nari taje ved tatavsu. Jine par nari teje ved tatavsu. Ane hृदय माहे राख्यो धर्म ने ते अमथी आगल जई बेस से ज्યાં છે અમારો ઠામ રે. Peer says whoever gives up illicit relationship, and here illicit is worldly thoughts, worldly life, only having world in our heart, after reflecting upon the essence of the scripture, the tawilat of the holy books, and in his heart had maintained the love for religion, will go and sit in front of us at our abode. Now the translation is kind of, there's an area of improvement. When Peer says that they will go and sit in front of us, meaning that they will get exalted rank. And Peer is very humbly saying that the rank can be higher than his own rank. It depends on the Mu'min Salik, how they are seeking these true knowledge, these inner meanings, the essence, so they can elevate their ranks. Another beautiful verse, Abdu jo gur male to arat batave, mate cheet ka sensa. Jal bina kamal na phule, taku murak jane hansa. O slave, if one meets a true guide, he will explain the essence. of existence and will destroy the doubts of your mind. Surely it is Imam's mercy, Imam's blessing. When the true knowledge enters in our heart, what happens? A Mu'min Salih goes through the process of destruction for the sake of construction. The ill concepts, the doubts, whatever we had learned in the past which was not right, which was based on only tanzilat or misal, all those ill concepts and even doubts are broken down, they are removed, and then the essence takes root in our heart. When essence takes root, surely there will be beautiful plantation. And I am referring here to Farman of Maulana Imam Sultan Muhammad Shah. Maula says that if the earth of your heart is soft, where plantation can occur because it's soft, it's not a dry soil, then Imam says, when I say my Farman, I give you my Farman, there will be plantation. And same thing our Pir is saying here, that those ill concepts will go away and then essence will take root in our heart. No lotus flower can bloom without water. In the same manner, a fool, meaning ignorant, cannot know his or her soul without a guide. It is only Imam's mercy. It is only Imam's mercy that we can have this guidance given to us. And then only the heart, the flower of our heart can blossom. So conclusion. The conclusion is with this verse, chapter 10, verse 39. It says, rather they have denied that which they encompass not in knowledge, and whose interpretation has not yet come to them. Thus did those before them deny. Then observe how was the end of the wrongdoers. So those in the past who had not accepted the Tawilat, what had happened? But very interestingly, it says that it has been happening. This verse says that it has been happening. And how has it been happening? When Adam came and he brought his scriptures, his knowledge, people did not accept it. People did not accept him. He was a simple guy, he was a simple man, a farmer, very staunch Mu'min, very pious Mu'min, with given knowledge. But people said, no, we are happy in the past. We don't want to get your books, or we don't want to listen to your knowledge. After Adam came Noah, and Noah was teaching people. People said, no. At that time, now they are believing in Adam's knowledge because Adam had gone. And Noah says, no, today I bring this fresh knowledge. Listen to me. I am the prophet of God and I have brought you these teachings. People denied him. And what had happened? Deluge came on and people drowned. Then comes the time of Ibrahim. Same thing happens. Musa, same thing. Isa, Prophet Muhammad. Every time people repeat the same thing because they are comfortable in the past. What they know already they know. They don't want to learn. Because learning meaning changing. Changing meaning working hard. And it is very comfortable to be living in the past, not willing to work. Wherever we are settled. So this is what Allah says very clearly. That they have denied that which they encompass not in knowledge, and whose interpretation has not yet come to them. If you don't take interest, how are we going to learn? And surely we do know what happened to all those nations. Alhamdulillah, we being Ismailis, our Imam is with us, who is guiding us. It is his mercy that we are able to learn the Tawili knowledge. With his mercy, we will be able to transform ourselves, transform our nafs-e ammara to nafs-e lawama, and so on. Shukran lillah, walhamdulillah, shukran lillah, walhamdulillah. If any friend has any question, please come forward. Can I go through resurrection? Is it possible for our ordinary Ismailis? Yes, surely it is possible. Everything happens step by step. one has to have the desire, willingness, followed by actions, followed by the work needed to be done. If we are doing the needed work, surely Imam is merciful. There is a beautiful verse in the Quran. Allah says, when you remember me, I remember you. So when we do zikr and we call upon Him, we do giryazari, when we read Quran or Farman or Ginan and we are remembering Him, seeking the tawilat, He remembers us too. But a moment, I would say anybody who is just settled with the lip service kind of zikr and they are not interested in learning, moving up, they don't have that courage to change themselves, then it's difficult. But every moment with Imam's mercy has the potential in them to bring their own resurrection. Okay, let me, why in 7 by 53 verse Tawil is not used in translation? Let's look at 7 by 53. This is 7 by 53. And remember we had said that there are synonyms being used for Tawil. So in Arabic you see Tawil there. This is the transliteration. In Arabic you can see the word Tawil twice. But in translation it's final. Akhirat. Do they wait for the akhir time? They have used the synonym of word Tawil. That is why it is crucial for us to be familiarizing ourselves with the transliteration too. In the verse which of the favors will you deny, can you please repeat what is meant by favors? The favors actually means tawilat, the true knowledge. To be very straightforward, it's the tawilat, it's the essence. You know, our tariqa is batni tariqa. The batin is of essence. Otherwise, every religion has its ritual, shariat. Everybody follows God. What is the difference between us and others? The difference is that we have the living Imam who is the custodian of tawilat. The tariqa is batni tariqa. And we do need to recognize the batin. Allah has bestowed His favors upon those who are the seekers. So yes, the favors in reality is actually the batni nemate, the treasures which are hidden, but they are there, given to us. So favors is actually also Tawil. Now when you ask of Khizr, we are not doing the story of Khizr. Khizr was the Imam of that time and he had this plan to give teaching to Musa, though prophet. Musa was a Paigambar, but he needed more teaching and Khizr had brought him out in the journey and then teaches him. So the Quran only talks about that short period of time, but Khizr name has appeared in lots of books of our Buzurgwar Deen, and surely Khizr is the Imam of that time.
Niamat, I had a question for you.
Malay Madad.
When we're doing seva, and after when we finish the seva, sometimes evening time we contemplate about it, whether we learned something new or everything went well. Is that considered knowledge?
No. You know why? Our being is at 3 levels: physical, spiritual, intellectual. So highest is what? Intellectual. Lowest is what? Physical. If it is our calling to do physical seva, we should do it. But then we do need to give food to our intellect. Reflecting on what you did physically, the work of the body is to do kasni, as it says in Kalam-e-Maula. They go through riyazat, do the work. Physically, we got to live in our world, do the work. Whatever we need to do, we have to do it. We cannot become monk and just be praying. We cannot. The physical body has to work. But it is the spirituality and the intellectuality, that domain of our beings, we have to flourish, nourish, so we can elevate ourselves. So if we are doing physical things, that is one part of our being. We do need to do for spiritual level and intellectual level. I did answer this question that Maulana Hazi Imam says, read primary sources. So do we need to learn Arabic? We don't need to. But if there are youngsters in Jamaat and they want to learn, why not? Arabic is a very complex language. Why Surah Rahman is called the bride of Quran? Very good question. You do need to go and read that chapter, and then that chapter is full of tawilat. Inshallah, when we get there, we will know why that chapter has been called the bride of the Quran. I see another question here. If Tawil is healing, can it heal us from our illnesses? Surely, it can. The way I just said that our being is physical, spiritual, intellectual. What happens when we are physically sick? Most of the time, the physical illness has a root in our spirituality. You'll be surprised to hear that our physical illnesses have root in our spirituality. Let me give you a different example in a different way. A moment who knows the true knowledge and learns the tawilat, if he or she is even physically sick, will not matter to that person. It will not bring their morals down at all, because they'll be always connected to Mawla in spirituality at the level of intellect, because they have tasted the fruit which are out of season, which are not available to anyone around them. They're always happy, and that's what Mawla has said, that Momin is always in Ruhani Masti, because what they have felt in their being, what they have tasted in their being, nobody has it. So the physical illness, if it is there, it won't bother them. But in other words, if that Momin Salik is good in doing zikr ibadat, ilmo amal, the physical illnesses can also be healed, because all these tawili knowledge has a healing power throughout, physical, spiritual, intellectual. Any disease at any level can be treated with the tawilat. So yes, all this knowledge has a healing power too, very truly. So I don't see any more questions, friends. Very good question. That's a very smart question. Let me answer that. Alina says, how do we join the dots when tawils can have different meanings? This is so crucial. It is very difficult when we are listening to these true knowledge classes, when we are discussing tawilat. The tawilat has to be given in a way which fits all. It has to be general enough that everybody gets to understanding. But surely there are points which are being mentioned. If a Mu'min Salik is regular in their bandagi, they are good with their ibadat in Nurani time, they are good with their zikr, they are good with their girya uzari. Believe me, the angels they have built in, they will help them connect the dots. And they'll be like going through this aha moment all the time. Oh, I understand what you're saying. Because it's any lecture which you hear which is based on true knowledge, there is no way possible that there is not higher knowledge for those who are seeking. It is always there. But the thing is that, are we able to connect the dots? If we are able to connect it, alhamdulillah. And it comes with time. So sometimes I say that you are collecting the pieces of puzzles. Don't get tired, just keep collecting it. Keep taking notes, keep writing it. After some time you'll hear, oh, I had written this point. Because if you've written it, write it down, you'll remember it. Then you're here 2 months, 3 months after, and you'll go back. I understand this now because it's connected to what I'm learning here. So it's a work in progress. It's a behavior of a student that you continue to learn. And Imam says that you have to continue to learn until you die. And the way we progress in our zikr ibadah, our aql also opens up. So it does happen, but one has to be patient and continue to do the work. And believe me, you will be able to get that connection. And I read here, surely Imam inspires whom he wills. So yes, Allah's will is there for everybody, not one person. No. but that will is in potential form. Those who remember him, he will remember them. So, it's interrelated in that way. Can you give example of a collective resurrection? Yes, very simply, when Imam becomes the Imam, Imam being the Imamul Nas and Imamul Muttaqeen. Imam has two titles, Imam of humanity and Imamul Muttaqeen, the Imam of the righteous. When Imam becomes the Imam, those who don't even know or don't even realize that Imam is becoming Imam or are Ismailis, they all in Batin has to prostrate to Imam. And it is mentioned in Quran actually, Surah Zumar, chapter 39, that everybody has to prostrate to Imam, regardless of they see it, they realize it or not. In their batin, they will prostrate to Imam, and that's the example of collective resurrection. Because the collective resurrection happens, meaning that everybody has to accept the Imam of the time. Without Imam, this world cannot last. People know it or not know it, believe it or not know it, it does not matter.
I was just asking because I am aware of a lot of our older adults, they tend to watch the news a lot, but I'm wondering if that's knowledge or how do you change to tell them that, to do other things?
It's hard. The older you are, and if you're away from those things and you are very habitually doing those things, I would simply say when you go serve them, I do know that you do serve Elder Jamaat, play Ginan, play Zikr. If it will go through the ears, inshallah there will be change coming from inside. And you sing the Zikr, you do the Zikr. Make them listen to all these beautiful Zikr audios you are getting, beautiful with music. Let them listen to that. Tell them the meanings of it, because that will be your repetition of your lesson you have learned. Let me tell you what I have learned today. So this is the zikr and this is the meaning. And let's see miracle of Mawla. And that will be your khidmat, teaching them the zikr and the meaning of it.
Shukr. Thank you.
Shukr alhamdulillah. Shukr alhamdulillah. Thank you. Thank you so much. It's only your prayers that helps me, do this work. Otherwise, I'm very weak. Thank you so much. Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.
Yali Madad.